Oh yeah, man. Woo! Hey, we've been looking forward to this day. One, the rankings are out. All this kind of stuff is shaking up around the uh, NCAA college football
Mm.
scene. But you know what we get to do every Wednesday, 8:15 p.m. It's Teague's Take, and we get to talk some football. Good football, SEC football, Alabama football, and just the landscape of it. So today we got a very special show for you guys, and we're going to dive into uh, Oklahoma a bunch tonight. So we didn't do the recap of Mercer. Honestly, we would basically had to show you the whole game. We felt like that it might have been a waste of you guys' time because everything was clicking and going, and nobody wanted to watch that film. I don't think so. It was just a highlight reel. So you have to catch that and go back to it on yourselves. We're gonna go ahead and move forward. Okay, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button, the like button, because we got a special one for you today, and we're gonna go ahead and get this party started right now. Let's go. Man, yes. Welcome into Teague's Tape. We're live uh, on YouTube and on the Bama Standard. Thank you all for everyone who is watching on both channels. Hit those subscribe button on both of our channels because, man, we got a doozy for you like we're going to have every single week throughout the remainder of the year. I want to go ahead and bring in our co-host really quick for Can, JT. Man, you know what, JT? Before we get to our guest, I gotta tell you this because it made me think of something when we're watching the introduction. I got a message from millions today, and you know we're getting too big or too many people are watching what we're doing because you know how long I've been with millions, right?
Mhm.
And so I got a message today, and someone told me I needed to take down my photo because I didn't own that photo of me high stepping into the end zone. So they want some extra cheese, I guess, for me to be able to post this photo on the thing. And I said, "Man, no, I ain't doing that. We just put another picture up." you know, uh, kind of like how people are watching us and they jealous, man, because what we do here on Teague's Take too, right? So um, I'm excited about this one, brother. Uh, any quick words that you need to tell these folks before I introduce our
No,
guests?
let's get to it. We're running out of time already.
Okay, then this is how it's going to be. So before we get this, please know we're not. You guys get in the chat, do all the stuff you're going to do, but we're going to limit to what we ask our guests because we only have them for a short amount of time. We need to make sure that we keep this positive. We don't care if you don't like Oklahoma or any other stuff or whatever. This is about getting educated and having a good time on Teague's Steak. You guys have always been respectful with our guests, and we ask that you guys continue to do the same thing this week. Okay. Plus, JT got this little robot in the chat or
I
whatever
do.
that will kick you out. So don't fight our robot. You can't win that battle either. All right. So who do we got? Man, I'm so it's always exciting when you have people that have way more knowledge about football than either one of us do combined. Doesn't matter how much we've played or what we've done. This gentleman, it was actually a player too. Played at Oklahoma from 1990 to 1993. Quarterback, so you know he sees things a little bit different. Those quarterbacks are built different. JT. He's a coach there from 99 to 2022. He served as a running backs coach, a wide receiver coach, the offensive coordinator. He was a recruiting coordinator. He was assistant head coach, right? He coached some big time dudes. I'm going to go ahead and say one of the names, Joe Mixon, just because he just ran all over the Cowboys this past weekend.
I
Got
was
me
Hmm.
sick
got
sitting
me
there just
beat in
Hey,
fantasy football.
oh.
I feel for
Uh,
you, Cowboys. I feel for you. I'm a Cowboy fan. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah,
Trust me.
yeah. I know y'all hear me in the background, but he coached Baker Mayfield too, man. Quarterback, right? DeMarco Murray, Adrian Peterson, Hollywood Brown, another one of our favorites, CD Lamb. Man, we can go on and about this guy, right? But he's out of coaching right now. But he is now doing a couple of different things. He's on the radio, so you guys need to listen to him. He's with the Sports Animal Network. It's the largest sports radio in Oklahoma, 98.1. We'll let you know how you find him and get to him, but he's also working with Coach Switzer, which, you know what? Barry Switzer is the number 2 winningest coach in Oklahoma. Guess who number 1 is? Our guest, Cale Gundy, got the most wins out of all the victories as a lead, as a player, and as a coach.
Player
Let's give a round of
coach.
applause and welcome in Cale Gundy.
Appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank you, George. Thank you, JT.
Let's do this, man.
Appreciate all
Thank
the
you for
love.
being here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for allowing us or giving us this opportunity to be able to come chat with you for a little while. It's pretty good. So, tell me a little bit first, just about your experiences at the not as a coach now, but I saw you at the SEC Media
Yeah.
Days. How was that on the other side? As a analyst or news reporter now.
First of all, I appreciate you and JT letting me come on this show. It's a privilege. It's an honor of mine. It's different. It's work. I didn't know. I always enjoyed talking to the media, talking to TV, talking to radio. I thought someday that when I got done, I might wanted to get into some radio or some TV. So, anyways, I hopped into the radio. I do some. I've got a show every 3 days a week. 98.1 Sports Animal from 11 to 2, and it's the middle of the day show. And absolutely love it. It's the largest sports radio talk in the state of Oklahoma. My main reasoning for wanting to get in this was because I ride around and I always listen to sports talk radio when I was on the road recruiting. And my 2 biggest areas was the Metroplex in Dallas and Oklahoma. So I love listening to sports radio, but a lot of times you hear some stuff on sports radio that ain't always true. And I just always like, man, I need to get on here. And when people ask questions, I want to give them the truth. I want them to know what's really going on the inside. And it's been fortunate. It is difficult. It ain't easy. You just can't jump on here and start talking. Now, you can do that. But when you talk for 3 hours a day and 3 hours the next day and another 3 hours, and some of those guys go 5 days a week, I mean, you have to prepare. You got to do your homework. And I'm very fortunate to be blessed and be around a bunch of good people. I also, as you mentioned, work with Coach Barry Switzer. We've got a company named Coach's Cabana. We host casino groups for sporting events, college, NBA, NFL, and really a great honor to have the opportunity to be with Coach Switzer. So I'm enjoying life, and man, I'm people ask me every day, everywhere I go, man, you need to get back in it. You need to get back in it. And just the crazy world that we're in with coaching, with the transfer portal and the NIL, I really just don't want to mess with it. I mean, I want to enjoy my time. My son coaches at Oklahoma State, where my brother is the head coach, Mike Gundy, at Oklahoma State. So I get a chance to go up there and see them a bunch, get a chance to travel. I got a daughter that lives in Scottsdale, so I'm enjoying life. I put enough time in. I coached for 28 years. My first 4 years were at UAB from 95 to 98 with Watson Brown. Lived in Hoover, down there at Ryan Village, and lived in Pelham, and just very blessed for the opportunities that I've had in my life.
You was killing that dreamland too, then, right?
Oh yeah,
I know,
yeah. You know it.
so
You know it.
that's all right. So that old Southern barbecue. But you know what? One thing, congratulations on all the success that you have. But what I love about what you said is, hey, you want to give them the truth when you're doing your analyst work, and that's what we pride ourselves with on this today. So we're gonna give them the truth about all of this stuff. Okay. We got a couple questions for you first before we get into the film, if
Okay.
you don't mind. We like to do that, and I want to start with this first one because you were talking about having the opportunity to maybe go see your brother and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes
Yeah.
I wonder, okay, does that mean you get to sneak and be an analyst for him and watch a film and all this kind of stuff? But as an analyst, I think we've both kind of looked at this, me and JT. Just what does that really mean when you're a college analyst? Are you actually coaching? What are you breaking down? What is the role of an analyst in?
Well, first, I wanna ask something a little bit more direct before you actually give the full spiel, because I've and I'm sure I've been overthinking it, but like when you are considered an offensive analyst, what side of the ball are you actually working on? Are you working on looking at
The
the
offense.
opposing defense helping the offense, or are you analyzing other offenses and helping your
That,
defense?
that's a great question, JT. That's up to the head coach. Um, Again, rules nowadays, they've lifted all the rules for college coaches, so everybody can coach on the field now. So it used to be just your 10 position coaches and the head coach and a couple GAs. And then you had certain coaches, analysts that could only work in the office. Well, they lifted that here back in the summer. So everybody now can do anything and everything. And again, it's up to the head coach. Does as an analyst, are you breaking down film? Are you helping in the meeting room? Are you helping on the field? Are you helping on at positions? I know, like my brother at Oklahoma State, their analyst. I think he's got 4 analysts on each side of the ball. Each analyst is at practice has specific eyes on a certain position. So defensively, you'll have analysts that are coaching corners, analysts coaching safeties, analysts coaching linebackers, and analysts coaching the defensive line. Even though there's a position coach coaching all those, you got another set of eyes to help you out. And the same offensively, you got guys helping the offensive line, the running backs, the receivers, and the quarterbacks. So it's all basically up to what that head coach at that school wants you to do. Break down offensively, offensive game plans. I mean, look into numbers, look into stats, look into the defense to help on the field. I mean, you can do a lot of things nowadays, and there's no limit to how many coaches you can have on staff. There's no limit to how many analysts you can have on staff now.
That's crazy, man.
It is. It is.
I guess there's enough money to go around for everybody. Seems like with that. Okay, do you got any follow up on that part, JT, from the analyst position, or do you think you got
Nope.
what you need to know? Okay, then I think maybe we should go to as a coordinator, right? And you're breaking down your defenses. What are you looking at first to start building your game plan? What is the process you go through for that?
Well, obviously you have your the assistant coaches that you're working with, and everybody has responsibilities. As a coordinator, you got to oversee everything. But you're going to have your offensive line coach. He's going to break down the run game. He's going to break down short yardage. He's going to break down goal line runs. He's going to break down pass protection and issues. So you got your wide receiver coach who's going to be in charge of routes, third and long, red zone, tight zone, goal line, and so on. So everybody's going to have responsibilities, but as an offensive coordinator, you've got to oversee everything. But like in everything in life, it's all about the people you're around. You got good people around you and they work good, you're going to be good. You got good players on your team, you're going to be good. So it's just everything you do in life. If you surround yourself with the right people that are going to work and put the time in. But you're breaking down. Most coaches I know, we've ever since I've been there, you'd like to break down 4 or 5 games. So you go through 4 or 5 games and you're breaking it down. Everybody's going back to their offices and doing the same thing, and then they're breaking down their individual responsibilities on the football field, whether it's red zone or tight zone or passing or running or coming out, short yardage, third and long or whatever. But you're looking for weaknesses on the defense. You're looking for players that you can attack because you got better players than they do. You're looking for certain schemes that cause problems to that defense. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and a lot of the work, kind of going back to the analysts that JT was asking about earlier, your analysts and your graduate assistants, and nowadays there's quality controls that are in there. A lot of them are doing that work before you start that week on that opposing team. So Sunday, after you get in Sunday morning and you watch the game from Saturday, whoever you played Saturday, you put that to rest, you grade it, put it to rest. And then there's going to be somebody inside that offensive staff room or defensive staff room that's going to present all the all the nuts and bolts about the opponent this week. Hey, here's their best players, here's their schemes, here's their front they run, here's their back end that they run, here are their strengths, here are their weaknesses, and that kind of gives you an idea before you start your process and your evaluation.
Must be nice.
You mean having someone else do all the pre-work for you to
Yes.
kind of let you know what's
Yeah.
going on? But you still
No
got to
doubt.
trust those people, right? I mean, I guess
Well,
you got to.
you have to, but those coaches are like your family. I mean, they're in it for the same reason, and if they don't do a good job, I mean, you're going to be able to tell immediately if they're doing their job. And if they don't, you got to go on down the road and you got to bring somebody else in. So, again, everybody in that facility, it's a big facility. You got all these coaches and strength coaches and recruiting people and media people and people in the weight room, people in the cafeteria. Everybody's got to have the same goal. Everybody's got to have everybody's back, and everybody's got to be on the same page.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just curious now, but because you're talking about how much film you're watching, like week one, and you're looking at something from last year or whatnot. How do you start to prepare? Or when do you start preparing for, the first game of the season? Because you don't necessarily have any new tape. Maybe there's new coaching staff. Maybe
Yeah.
there's new something. What
Well,
do you
there's
do?
probably gonna be a whole bunch of new players. Because I originally I was gonna say, yeah, well, you just start as soon as the season's over with. You can go ahead and but the whole roster might flip by the time you get
That's
there.
right. That's right. And JT, there are people that I've learned this year through talking to people. There are people that are specifically hired in college now, and that is solely all they do. There's a guy who will watch the opposing team. Like, for example, let's just say there's a guy in Oklahoma. He's an offensive guy, and there's a defensive guy. They watch Alabama, and they watch you all year. They watch you last year, okay? And they're picking out who the best players are. They're looking at every player on that field, every offensive player, every defensive player. They're looking at his strengths. They're looking at his weaknesses. That's their sole job. They don't do anything else. They just watch games, and they watch a bunch of them, and they're watching George Teague and watch how he plays linebacker. They're looking at your strengths and your weaknesses, what you've done last year, and then if any games this year. And this is how we can attack this guy. Okay, let's look at the Sam linebacker. Let's look at the wheel. Let's look at the strong safety, the free safety, the corners, the defensive tackles, defensive end. So there's guys in college. That's solely what they do.
How much they make?
Trust me, at your former school, they're probably paying you well. At your former school, they're paying you well. And some of these guys that have taken these jobs are friends of mine that I knew were pro scouts.
That's what it sounds. I was about to say. It sounds like they might.
And
be
you will know one who's at Texas A&M. His name is Walter Juliff. Walter was a scout for 50 years and was at the Cowboys forever, was at the Raiders. He got hired by Jimbo Fisher. And when Jimbo left, Mike Elko retained him. That's all he does. He doesn't do anything else. He don't look at schemes, nothing. He just watches individual players on one side of the ball.
All right, so last question before we get into the film. And I don't know, just kind of curious. Anytime you have a bye week like this, one team has a bye week, the other team does it, and you're trying to prepare for this. And so Oklahoma has kind of had its time off. Maybe they had an extra week to study the film or whatever, like you just said. But you kind of got a new coordinator too, or a new play caller. I don't know. I'm saying fresh new 3 or 4 weeks of something. Is that could that be a trap for Bama, Kane, Womack, and things when you're trying to deal and learn tendencies of a new signal caller?
Oh, I think it could be at some places and some programs, and then some programs I just don't think it's really allowed to happen. The Crimson Tide is in a situation where they're chasing the SEC championship and trying to get in the playoffs. They've got some stuff that's out there in front of them. They are going to come in and be prepared for this weekend. They're going to be ready to come in and play a football team that has had some success on the defensive side and they've been struggling offensively. The former offensive coordinator here, who got released here a few weeks ago, was a young man that I coached here at OU. He was one of my running backs when I first started coaching here, Seth Luttrell, great friend of mine. And they released him, and they moved the tight end coach, Joe John Finley, who also played here several years ago when I coached here, as a very good friend of mine. And his background has been with Jeff Lebby, the head coach at Mississippi State, who I recruited to OU a long time ago. He's from Andrews High School in Andrews, Texas. I brought him to OU. I recruited him, but Coach Finley was with him, so he has a lot of background in that style of offense that you've seen at Ole Miss a couple of years ago, and then OU here, and now at Mississippi State. So Coach Finley's been the play calling here for OU for the last 3 or 4 weeks. So there's a lot of similarities. They've been the offensive side of the ball has really had a hard time this year. Tons of injuries. Their top 5 wide receivers have been injured and been out all year. There's a couple more that just got back. Offensive line is really going through some tough times. They've been switching quarterbacks back and forth. It's been a challenge here. The OU's been going through something that they've never really been through. The one side that has had some strength and had some success is the defensive side of the ball. They do a good job on that side. It's Coach Venables is a defensive coordinator, linebacker guy. Their main job every week, every day, every second, every minute, every hour of the year is to stop the run game. They're going to load the box up. I mean, and that's what they want to do. Now, because of that, they've given up some yardage in the pass game. They've given up some big plays on the back end, but their strength is the run game and shutting it down. They've got good depth. They're right now, I think statistically in the SEC, they're about middle of the pack in a lot of categories, which, as we know, the SEC is extremely challenging. There's some really, really good defenses that are out there. But that's the strength of this OU football team is the defense.
All right. Well, he put it on point there, and I like how you lead. And I love your setup with there because, damn it, Kenny, you about to get what you asking for, man. Let's get to this thing right here. So we want to talk some of the offense. Again, you being the guru there. And some of it we just want to, kind of get your ideas on what the thought process is. Some of it could be technical issues and things of that nature. So these aren't necessarily plays that, were home run hitters or something of that nature, but just a little bit of film that we got to see. I think you're right on point that there wasn't a whole lot of offense going on that was, making me pop out and be like, ooh, this kind of thing. So this first play is a pass in the concept. I kind of want you to talk through this a little bit. JT lets it go for you and see.
Oh.
Right. So first thing I saw was his footwork. I kind of want you to hit on that. Quarterback. I don't know if that was when he moved to the right. I'm just my novice eyes. I'm going like, oh, what is that for? And why did he not stay in the pocket? And then you can go on from the rest of the play. Okay,
so this is kind of one of their bread and butter plays. They've used this all year long. So what this is a half roll by the quarterback, a boot pull up. Okay, so they run this play different ways. They bring a tailback out here in the flat. They will do this play in 12 personnel and bring a tight end in motion and shoot him out in the flat, or they will bring a receiver and shoot him out in the flat. And the tight end here, who's on the edge of the line, his job is to pin that defensive end, okay? Now, what Missouri did, and they were smart because they said, okay, anytime the ball's on the hash and there's a tight end off the ball to our side and he's in a hipped position with the tackle, we are going to be prepared for this play. What they want to do is they want to pin that defensive end out so the quarterback can roll out, and they've got to come back down here at the bottom. They've got a curl route by the number 2 receiver on the inside who should stay on the hash. He gets pushed inside, and then you got a guy out in the flat, and if it's all covered, the quarterback can roll. What Missouri did was when the defensive end got lined up and he saw that tight end in a hip position, he widened out to a 9 technique and said, "You ain't going to pin me."
Instead of being that old 7 technique we talk
That's
about.
right. That's right. That's right. So instead of pinning and allowing the quarterback to get outside and to be an extra ball carrier, they said, "No, we're going to make you pull up." So they were prepared for this play. Like I said, they run this play several different ways, and Missouri put a stop to it. OU had some success early in their season. It's a way to get the quarterback out of the pocket, let him get the ball out of his hand, give it to a guy, go get you about 7-8 yards. But Missouri had a good plan for this.
Okay, excellent. I don't know if you need to see that from the back end or whatever, but all right, next play. Run action. I think you're saying that this is probably one of the best pieces, to the game. So I just thought it was interesting in the how they actually put this together. Are we okay?
So
there we go.
So let it go there, JT. So this is what's called a power read. Okay, so we talked earlier about OU's offensive line kind of struggling this year, really struggling with just true zone blocking. As you know, zone blocking, George, it's basically man on man trying to push him off the line of scrimmage. So as the season's gone along, most of the season they've been running a lot of down blocks and pulls and kick outs to try to get better angles to help their offensive line. But this is what's called a power read. The front side tailback, he's gonna arc around the defensive end and block the first player outside the box. The quarterback's going to read the defensive end. If the defensive end would close, the quarterback's going to hand the ball off, and it's just going to be a true outside lead zone. If the defensive end widens, the quarterback becomes the ball carrier. We're going to pull the guard around for the inside linebacker. So it gives you options. And I can't recall. So the defensive end kind of got up the field. He's flat-footed. So the quarterback's the ball carrier. And the guard is pulling around for the front side linebacker. So you got options. You could hand it off. You could run it. And I did not see the receivers out there. You don't need to go back, JT, but there's probably 2 receivers out there. They're probably running hitches. And if the hitch looks good, they're running bubble. They're running a bubble down here. So he could have taken this ball and thrown this ball out here, if he gets any kind of blitz off the edge. So you've got a chance to throw it. You got a chance to hand off to the tailback, or you got a chance for the quarterback to keep the ball.
All right. Just one thing, if you go back to the tail end, JT, just as far as the technique of this wrapper, that's coming up for the as they're trying to climb up to these linebackers, what are you telling these guys? I know he's kicking out, but I think it's the left guard that actually tries to come up, or I don't know. Once we'll see which one that actually tries to come up and get number 11.
I think it's the right guard there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are you telling him to do at this point?
Well,
he's in space
you're just trying to do the best you can. I mean, you can sit here and talk to the guy, hey, we want to get outside leverage, or we want to get inside leverage. He ain't a good enough athlete to block George Teague out there in space. So you better when I was still there, we told him come around there and square him up and let the quarterback, he's a better athlete, let him make the cut off of you. So don't stress the offensive lineman and I don't mean it in a bad way, but they're not as good athletes on the field as everybody else. So you come around and square that guy up and let the quarterback cut off of you.
So he grazed good on that one, is what you're saying. Because he squared up, got him, make him commit, and then the quarterback does his thing.
Yeah, and look at the backside. Look at the lineman coming here on the backside. I want to show this. Go back there. Where'd he come from, JT? Was that the center?
Yes, that's the center.
Okay, well, watch him. Just watch him keep playing. Let the play go and watch him just keep playing ball. You keep playing ball, keep playing ball, keep playing ball, keep playing ball, and he pushed the guy past the hole. You know, he didn't knock him down. He didn't pancake him, but he stayed active. He kept his hands on him. And Coach Beanbo, the offensive line coach, is a great friend of mine. He's been at OU for a long time. He's one of the best offensive line coaches in the country.
All right, excellent. All right, we'll go on to the next one. Look, we got another pass play. So we chose just a few different plays just because, again, there wasn't a lot of deep shots or things down the field. Looked like that they're trying to get the ball out of his hand kind of quick for the most part. So this is
and George, let me just say one thing about that. That's one thing that they do not do is they don't throw the ball downfield. And it's been talked about all year long. They did not throw one ball past 12 yards in this game until late in the third quarter. They just don't throw the ball down the field, and that ain't good because you got safeties and corners that are squatting on everything you're doing. So, anyways, that's
a good point.
It's been a bad thing for them.
Yeah, and that's going to be beneficial for Alabama. I mean, if you're going to attack them through the air, do you want deep and outside is really kind of where the weakness is.
The corners,
with those young guys. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this concept here, this is this is just a true spot route into the boundary. You got the outside receiver who's pushing up, and he's going to settle down, kind of in an outside linebacker area, about 5 or 6 yards. This is what we call a spot dig. So the tight end, he's releasing first. A lot of times that tight end runs a corner route, and you have a swing by the back in the backfield, and you can high-low. You can take the spot, or you can take the corner, or you can take the tailback. But this time they digged the tight end so they can high-low the linebacker. It looks like the tight end gets pushed a little wide here by the outside linebacker and never gets back over in the middle in there. The ball should be out of his hand right now because the spot route with the outside receiver is open. And then to the field, probably have 2 slants out here. And again, the quarterback is reading single safety or 2 safety. If it's 2 safety, he's probably going to stay down here with these slants. If it's single safety, he's probably going to stay front side. So it gives the quarterback options pre-snap what to do with the ball.
All right. That's good. Yeah, just got to get rid of it. It seemed like it was on time. And well done. Just got to route to the ball on defense and make the tackle because he's, run after catch. All right. Another pass. Start getting down here in the red zone a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I gotta move us out of the way. 1 second.
Kill the cameras. Or whatever you call it.
Yeah, I got my drawing tool going. Here we go. We're just gonna move us.
There you go.
Ooh, look at my man over here getting us together, boy. Just picking up all these pictures and moving. That's why, Gundy, I pay him very, very well.
Oh yeah, so well. Oh my God.
I know JT. I pay my kids the same way.
Yeah, no attention.
Yeah, that's right. I pay him well. All right, here we go. Pass.
Okay, so this is the hot play in all of college football and NFL. It's called an RPO, run pass option.
I want to hear you. Talk through that for me too, but tell me if you like all of this. Now I'm going to be more critical than you because I'm going. All right, it almost seemed like it's a one. Maybe it's supposed to be a run, but it just seemed like it was like a single man route. These guys down here at the bottom aren't doing a whole lot. I don't even know if they're a real option or not. So. Go ahead and talk to us about that and then how you just.
Okay, so quarterback has 3 options here. Okay, they've got hitches to the field out here, and at any given time, if he can take a 6-yard hitch, he's going to throw it out there and take 6 yards. I mean, you're going to take 2nd and 4 all day long. So that's his first read. He knows before the ball snapped, I'm getting rid of the ball and going out here right now. Okay, the second one is the RPO. I don't know. The jury's still out, in my opinion, on these RPOs. Some people can do it good. Some people struggle with it. It's when you talk about it, it's easier to talk about and to execute than it seems to be on the field. So run pass option, okay, quarterback. So they've got the zone insert here. They're running inside zone, looks like just an isolation play. and the quarterback is reading that boundary safety. If that boundary safety is low, which he is there compared to the field safety, since that boundary safety is low, the quarterback is going to ride the ball into the back, and he's going to pull it, and he should throw it. If that safety is high, the ball should be handed off. Okay, so you're going to see this play. You can let it go, JT, that quarterback takes a good read, reads it, safety's down, he turns to throw it, but the safety is still in the window, so he has to squeeze it. And when he has to squeeze it, it becomes a dead play. Why? Because your offensive linemen are blocking run game.
Downfield.
Okay.
Way downfield.
You know, people are getting down the field. So because you're right tackle and everybody's blocking like the run, I mean, those guys are going to come off of them right now. So the quarterback had the right read, but the safety was in the throwing window, and that's why he did not deliver that ball. The inside, the receiver to the boundary is running his little skinny, and you know, there's a place to throw it in there, but the safety's in the window. I think you can see from this area here. Circle that safety there, JT. That's the guy that since he's down low, you'd like to get the ball right behind him, right in that window there, and you can see the quarterback here fake the run here, get the safety to bite a little. But that safety bails out and gets in that window, George.
Yeah,
and he can't. If he tries to throw it the second window, here comes the other safety that's coming over here.
He probably sees that guy to his front side glaring down right at him too.
Yep. And so now your quarterback, you got to scramble. You got to get rid of the ball. Your linemen are, again, they only have, I don't know what it is, 2 or 3 yards to go downfield. That's another big topic.
And he can't even throw this ball away, right? Because even if he throws it away, it's you got an eligible man downfield. He's actually just running for his life at this point.
And here's what the offensive linemen are taught in this situation: if they turn around and see the quarterback scrambling, they immediately start running back to the line of scrimmage. Because what happens is a lot of time when the quarterback scrambles in this situation, what does he always do when he scrambles? If he can't complete it, he throws it away.
Mm-hmm.
And so, can your quarterback, there's a lot of stuff going on now. That quarterback, he running for his life. He's used to just to getting rid of the ball and not taking a sack. So you teach your linemen, if you see the quarterback running on RPO, if you're 2 or 3 yards down the field, you better run back. So that way, if he does throw it, everybody's within that couple yards, and it's not a legal man downfield.
JT, we might have to put that on the. I see your brain going like, you're downfield, like you don't get to come back,
right? Yes,
and not be downfield anymore because he's bought time.
Because to me that sounds like, well, I had 12 people on the field, and he ran off, but then he came back. This is the Oregon all over again. Just run him out there and take the penalty.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
All right.
This is a good concept here. So, so it's what we call a spot concept to the field where the motion's going. You got 2 receivers kind of in tight splits. They're both going to run spots. Again, quarterback can always take this single receiver down here if he likes it. I don't know what he's running. Probably a skinny or a slant, in my opinion, or a go ball. Okay, there you go. He's widening the guy to try to win on a slant. They got 2 spot routes up here. If it's open, he can take the spot route, get the ball out of his hand. If not, you got your tailback going in motion on a swing route or whip route, whatever you want to call it. Go back, JT. Watch this guy coming in motion. So this receiver who's coming in motion, his job is to block the corner. Okay, so if the ball ends up getting to the tailback, you got a guy blocking a corner down the field. So it's basically like a running back screen out there.
Are these two?
They're kind of close.
Too tight. Too tight. I don't like it. I mean,
it feels like he needs to be getting across so that this other dude can sit here.
there's no doubt. I don't know if their alignment is too tight, but that's not a good thing right there. And again, you can see the outside receivers press, so he had more of an inside release. But those two guys are standing on top of each other, and I don't like that. I think the outside receiver should be, probably halfway between the hash and the numbers, and the tight end should be a little bit more truly over the ball. And then the motion guys are going to go block the corner.
Like it.
Details. You coach them all week. You practice them all week. You got to do them how it is, but you don't get the same alignment. That scout team defensive guy doesn't line up the same way that you see, and then that's why your coaches, they got to coach them in the meetings, and they got to be prepared for whatever. You got to go over all this. Okay, I mean, you're going to have an inside defender. You got to release outside. You got a guy head up. You got to release inside. I mean, you got to be able to adjust on the move. You just can't go off of, what's on the board in a grease board. You got to be able to adjust on the field.
All right. I think we got another run. I can't remember which one it was, what type it was here. If this is
Okay. Yep. So.
You know what? I have before we get into this, I do have a question for you, because I'm gonna ask this to like every offensive coordinator that I'm ever gonna run into. How can you tell? I guess necessarily, what do you look at when you're trying to determine whether or not this is gap scheme or zone without a puller? Because I mean, obviously it's a gap scheme when you got a guy pulling, but when you have something maybe like an insert like this, or if it's duo, which I guess is technically gap scheme, but it just looks like zone. Like, how do you start making that difference?
I just got to look at it. I mean, I've just been around it, and I've seen it. This is what's called, this is a true zone, but it's a zone insert. So what they're doing here is, and I mentioned this to, I think I did earlier, when they run a true zone, if they run a true zone here, JT, if they're running inside zone, going to the right between the center and right guard, the right tackle's blocking, double teaming out. Everybody's going that way. And the tight end or fullback back here, he's going to go backside and block the defensive end. Okay, that's true zone. That's, class 101. Zone insert, what they do is they do the same front side, they zone it, but backside, they man on. Okay, so they're creating more space back there. No, I think that tackle is going to go out to your left. I believe.
You're right.
And the fullback is going to come backside on that linebacker. So they're creating more space instead of zone blocking it. If you truly zone and you bring the left guard down and the left tackle down, and then the tight end goes backside, it squeezes your running lanes. So this zone insert, that tight end is going to go probably to the backside linebacker. And when he tries to go in this A gap, because there's a body there, the defensive tackle's in a 2-eye, he's going to blow that up and create more space for the running back.
Okay. Yeah, I was I was wondering what that was at number 10. I was like, is he blocking the wrong guy? Because I figured he was supposed to be going up to his other.
If that defensive tackle was in a 3 technique, it'd have been clear for the tight end to go to the backside linebacker. But since
so he's saying that you're saying his path is always supposed to be in there anyway. Yes, and if there's somebody in this gap, just hit him. If he's shaded outside, you get you basically get a base block out here.
Yep.
He's going here, and then you can just.
Yep. That's right. And you're creating more space there. You'd like to run it with the 3 technique back there to create a bigger window. So the tight end's he's gonna go through there and blow it up and knock it into a 3 technique.
Yeah, just good alignment by them.
Yeah,
but
you've got a safety that's down the hole. That's just 1-on-1 with the tailback.
I'm saying you just hate it because you end up getting. Well, you actually end up with 2 guys unblocked.
Because you're not getting him or this guy anymore.
You can't get him. Yeah. So.
Well, you're not going to get that safety out here anyways. That's where the RPO comes. We just saw the RPO, and that RPO was off this same look right there.
Same look. Yep. But they got positive yards out of it. It was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We got a motion back out here. If the quarterback likes it and likes the leverage out here throw it out here. Throw it to the tailback. Let the receivers block. But he doesn't like it because these guys are pressed, probably going to get kind of dirty out here. So he's off of that, and we got the run game. So let's go to the tight end here, the tight view, JT. Let's see what we got here. So
this action is pretty doggone good. I love this play.
Yep, he's going to freeze, take a look out there, and this is true QB run. This is a counter, guys. This is a true counter. You're pulling a guard, and true counter is pulling a guard and tackle, old school. But now you pull a guard and you pull a tight end. So the tight end front side, he's going to act like he's going left.
Just let it
and
wait
now
a
he's
bird.
coming back out. That's right.
Okay, yeah, because I was just about to ask you, what's the difference between power and counter? Because my simple version is power's got one puller, counter's got two. But
that's right. But you're getting two with this tight end here.
Gotcha, because he's taking that step and he's coming back this way.
You got it. Your right guard and tackle are double teaming that three to the backside linebacker. Center's blocking back, guards pulling and kicking out, and tight end is inserting here. Look at the quarterback. Look at his eyes out here holding the backside linebackers. And there's his
counter steps by being able to just kind of sit there instead of actually taking a.
Yep, it should be a good play. Unless somebody comes off a block.
They got it right here.
Should be good. There you go.
The safety had to come up and get him.
That's right. That's what those guys do.
I just love this.
Yeah, I like this one.
I love this type of running game. It just.
But it depends who's carrying that ball right there. Not all of these dudes can do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if Jackson Arnold is the guy that you really want running counter all the time. If he's
but Jackson has the body. Jackson's a ball carrier. Okay. Jackson runs with the ball very, very good. And now they're trying to get him. You can go ahead and let it go. You don't want guys taking licks like that all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, over a period of time, something's going to happen. But Jackson does run the ball. Jackson's a good sized kid, really is.
All right, we've got two more.
Okay.
For you.
Oh, this is good stuff here too. We getting kinky now. Mm-hmm. Wait till I tell you what's going on here. So, all right. So, this is a version of counter. This is exactly what you just saw.
Just without a tight end, though.
Okay, exactly. Your tight end's coming from the boundary over here. He should be coming in and cracking somebody.
He should be hitting the other guy. You said he's probably on the wrong dude.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Maybe,
yes.
Perhaps. Yeah.
So, but because I don't know how they ID'd it, they might have ID'd it differently. Mm-hmm. But we ran this in the bowl game. We played Oregon in the Alamo Bowl. Matter of fact, when Lincoln Riley left and I was the offensive coordinator, Coach Bob Stoops came in. We ran this versus Oregon. So this is counter. This is the same thing you just saw. But instead of that tight end coming from the backfield, he's just coming from out here, and we called it crack counter.
Okay, let me ask you something. I'm gonna say it's pretty technical, I guess here, just because I'm learning too, right? So it's really their left guard. So I was looking at it from our defense standpoint, and saying, okay, is he supposed to be doubling this in? Were they supposed to chip up to 11? But then the other guy kind of stunts to the opposite side of the center, and then he bumps the nose tackle. So I see him double teaming there, and then he converts and goes to this other guy. You think that's just awareness? Something
yes,
good on his part that he's just saying?
It's awareness. He's well coached. They've got, again, who I think is one of the best offensive line coaches, and I coached with for a long time. They may not be the best offensive lineman in the game. They may not have anybody on that front five that will play in the NFL. They'll know what to do. They'll know who to block. They know the gaps. It's common sense. Okay, if this happens, then you got to adjust, and that's what I was telling you a while ago. Is, man, you've got to, when you teach these guys, all of your players, regardless of anything, when you talk to them about a play and you put up a scheme, you just don't show one scheme. You got to show, okay, what if they change? What if the ball snapped and this guy comes here and this happens? So you just got to go in detail and they can help do it the right way. But that's what they're doing. They're just adjusting on the run, and sometimes it's going to be ugly, but they should be. That guard and tackle should be Calmo back to number 11. Center should be blocking on back on that shade, but that shade crossed his face, and so you just got to try to get in position, stick your butt in the hole because you know where the running back's going to go, and try to keep them out of there. It's all the best you can do.
All right, all right. Well, man, this has been absolutely fabulous, and the insight that you brought to us with this. Are we back to the top, JT?
No, this is the last one here.
Okay.
Last play. This is just another split counter. Again, quarterback can throw it out here. If he likes it out here,
yeah, he didn't. There wasn't a trigger like last time.
That's right. And again, you're taking somewhat of a chance if that inside DB down here has got his eyes in the backfield, he can trigger. That's a hard block. But you throw it out here. I mean, if like the outside receiver, in my opinion, if that guy's playing you man, outside release or run him off. Don't ever block him. If you can turn that DB and that DB's running, you don't have to block him. Run him all the way down the field. It looks like to me that inside receiver, that DB's got his eyes in the backfield. So that DB or that receiver has to block him. But this is still a counter in the backfield. Quarterback can throw it out here, and if he likes it. If not, you got to counter a QB carrying the ball, running the counter in the backfield. You can go to the end zone, JT, and you can see that. So just old school counter again. Same stuff we've been watching. Tight end, 1, 2, 3. Here they come. And if the quarterback wants to, if he doesn't like it out there, he becomes the ball carrier.
He don't want to get hit no more balls. He's like, hey, man, I'm done. I'm out. This clip 50, man. Yeah, man, I'm done with this right here, man. We trying to get out of here. Oh, well, this is, I think, someone had mentioned about the, just a chess match and how many different things go into this. And I think you can't ever, as much as people want to talk about it, when you're going on the road and you're playing against somebody, you got to go up to Oklahoma. It doesn't matter what the records are, man. These guys are coached up, and it's going to be a battle. With it, I think we win. I think we're better. I think our defense stands up, and I don't know. I think our offense does well too.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk some defense here in a little while after we let him go. But I need for y'all to remember what Coach said is their defense is very strong, and when you see it, they are very, very good.
They will try to. Their chance for OU to have success in this game is to try to find a way to get 2 turnovers. If they can somehow get 2 turnovers from Alabama's offense, which Alabama hadn't turned the ball over in the last 3 games, they've got 9 turnovers on their defensive side. But, when you go on the road, turnovers. I mean, you played the game, you coach the game, you too, JT. 80% of the game's decided on who has more turnovers. Who you have more turnovers than the other guy, you're going to lose 80% of the time. And OU's has a major problem turning the ball over. But on the road, night game, I'm learning this. You can get beat in the SEC on any given Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get beat on the road in certain environments at nighttime in the SEC on any given Saturday. I don't know if OU is quite there yet, but you saw it last week with LSU and Florida. That Florida defense, they've been in the bottom 2 or 3 teams in the Southeastern Conference play all year, and they look like one of the best defenses in the country Saturday night playing against LSU. And South Carolina. Shane Beamer, he's an Oklahoma guy. You go down there at nighttime now, you get a little crazy down there.
So when you're watching it first, I want to say I don't know if you know Glenn Stretch Smith. Glenn Smith coached at the Cowboys for a little while. Did some tight ends. He wanted to make sure I told you hello. By the way,
Glenn.
Yeah, but DeBoer and the type of offense that he runs. I mean, do you? As an offensive guy, whatever, do you look at this and go, man, this is some pretty good stuff? Or is it just normal? I'm not saying it to make it sound small or whatever, but, we look at it and we're always trying to figure out how creative is it really? Is it just game planning? But, is there genius stuff to this where people are making new things when you look at DeBoer's offense? What's your initial, take on what you see and how they run their their schemes.
I think that they have adapted to who they have and what best fits their players. Obviously, last year they had Michael Penix at Washington, and that dude could throw the ball, and that was their strength. So they played to that. I think this year, looking at what was best for Alabama, I think they're involved in evolving. I think they've kind of figured it out. Hey, we're going to run the football, you know. And I think Jalen Milroe throws the ball really good. I think his best pass is deep balls. I think he's got great touch on throwing deep balls down the field. Um, Jalen is one of the most talented and the most athletic quarterbacks in all of college football. He's as dangerous as anybody with the ball in his hand, period. And I think that they have figured out that that's what their strength is. Last year, Alabama had two running backs who had more rushing yards than Jalen Milroe. Well, Jalen Milroe is the leading rusher on Alabama football team this year, as well as throwing as being the quarterback and throwing the ball. Not a team that's consistently going to throw it for 300 yards a game. They want to run the football. They want to take care of the football. They want to control the line of scrimmage. They're going to take shots with the Williams and Katz, guys like that they got out there. But they want to run the ball, and they want to let that defense, they want to play, offense and defense and play together as a team. That's what I see. I don't see the true same offense as what they were at Washington, and it's because I think they've got some different players, so they've had to adapt a little bit. Sometimes you got to do that as coaches.
Man, I love it. Thank you for reiterating to all of our fans that, hey, man, you got to adapt and you got to figure it out as you go sometime. And JT and I both feel the same way. They're just trying to figure it out. And at some point, they say, man, we got to let this guy have the ball. So, Coach, we do appreciate you very much. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
Giving us that stuff. Y'all make sure y'all find out where he is on 98.1 in Oklahoma City if you're in that area, or if you're one of those guys that want to go sit in the cabana and do some gambling, some high stakes stuff or whatever, man.
Yeah, I
give
mean,
us
I'd like to go, but I ain't no high roller though.
Hey,
I'm
I ain't
walking
either.
in with
I ain't either.
$100 and
I ain't
I
either.
knew about
JT.
this, JT, because I saw, I ran into Coach Gundy at it was so awkward and weird, but me and your mother were in Choctaw.
Choctaw. Of course you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And they were having an event there that I don't know who I ran into or something. It was like, they got this little watch party going on up in there. And
Yeah.
I crashed the party. We went on in and
Is that how you got that little room in there that you did a show from? Coach Gundy hooked you up.
no. Gunny didn't actually hook me that up. That is a cowboy connection that actually do that because of the work that they do with Choctaw as well. They probably don't want me to say that because I think
Yeah,
they
because the
consider
WinStar is
themselves
the official
WinStars.
casino of the Cowboys. Come on now.
Well, my bad. Hopefully they're not
Hey,
listening. But anyway,
you are right that they are one of our biggest people. They take great care of us, and we have Heisman Trophy winners will have people go down there for private dinners. Coach Switzer did a deal with Troy and Emmett here this past summer. We have Coach Stoops down there, so yeah, that Choctaw is a good place in there now. You get lost in there now; they got everything you want.
I'm telling you, I know they got some of my money too.
Got some of your money in there. That's JT's money.
I know that's why I can't pay so well. Okay, so this is what I want you to do. I'm gonna get ready to let you go. When you see Coach Switzer, I want you to tell him hello because I did play
I
for
will.
him as well. But I need for you to remind him or tell him that I actually, um, I don't know if it's his sister, cousin, something. He'll know. But I coached Suzette Switzer's. Well, I didn't coach. I was athletic director for um, her daughter, who was at the Shelton School here
Mhm.
a few years back. So me and Suzette Switzer Hines is her name now. We were had a very good relationship, just from the standpoint of her daughter being at the school, and I would because of the Switzer, I was like, hold on a minute now. No, and finally asked, he was like, yeah, we're related. That is my, uncle or whatever it was. So, um, tell him hello. And I
I
always
will.
talk about Switzer because he was the coach in 1996 for the Cowboys when I actually came here the first time. And he welcomed me with open arms and gave me an opportunity to play for the Dallas Cowboys as well. So I'm thankful and grateful
He's
for that.
he's a special person.
Yes, sir.
There's only one. There's only one.
That's right. Well, there's only one better when it comes to the wins and the leader in victories at OU, and that is Cale Gundy, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate you,
Thank you,
coach.
George. Appreciate it. JT, thank you guys.
Yep. Thanks for coming out.
All right.
Yep.
Well, we'll see you. We're going to take a 90-second break as we let him go to pay some bills. We'll be right back, and we'll talk some defense. George Teague here, formerly of the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Dallas Cowboys. So let me ask you a question. Are you an athlete or a coach looking to boost your online visibility? Well, you've got to check out On3. Their personalized web pages amplify the total you on and off the field. Whether you want to grow your visibility, build your brand, or simply show the world who you truly are, On3 is here for you. They showcase the complete person, celebrating your passions, perseverance, and the pursuit of excellence beyond sports. These web pages are the ultimate digital hub to elevate your brand and highlight your journey. So head on over to www.on3.io/microsites and get started with On3 today. Yes, sir.
Oh, right. And I am supposed to have another read. Let me find it. Sorry, John, but here it is. Tide in Texas is the North Texas chapter of the University of Alabama National Alumni Association. The mission of the chapter is to promote the university to prospective students in North Texas and raise money for 10 endowed scholarships. The mission is accomplished through social, educational, and philanthropic events. And their next event is the annual Christmas party on Friday, December 6th at the Tower Club in downtown Dallas. Purchase your tickets at tideintexas.com and enjoy an open bar, appetizers, music, and breathtaking views of downtown Dallas from the 48th floor of Thanksgiving Tower. So thanks to Tide in Texas, Blackfriar, and On3 for their continued support of this show and the film that we are able to provide to you all.
Yes. Appreciate you guys very much. And I do want to say thank you to AK, too. He said, thank you for doing all these breakdowns, y'all. Should have way more viewers and likes than you do. I just want to say, brother, we appreciate you for being in the house. Share it with folks for us. We do appreciate it. I mean, well, we'll be real transparent. We are, what do I say? It's not like we do paid promotions or any kind of things that really push the thing more, maybe like some other people do. It's because this is a hobby. We love the support. We love to find out.
We are beholden to the YouTube algorithm and viewers like you who share. We definitely don't pay for sponsored ads. Maybe we should, but we don't.
That's right. We don't. This is not. Some people do these things full time and say, "Well, you're trying to do, really trying to push their show." Or maybe I shouldn't even say full time, but probably more content on a weekly basis, 2-3 times a week or something like that. That's not us. We have good jobs that we like to have, but we love doing this too. And it's a time for us to get together as family, but also to be able to talk about football and try to get to you guys. So we need you guys' support, with just spreading the word, letting people know that we're here, because we know that people, I think once they get in and see it, they're like, oh, this is different. We want them to come back and become teachers. So thank you very much for all that you do, sir. You are a teakster. All right, man. Let's talk a little bit of defense. I don't know how many clips you ended up putting in there. I didn't put that many.
I didn't put. I wasn't a good analyst this week.
No, it's
Sorry.
okay. I think I only put 4 or 5 clips. And really, what I want to say before we get into this, there is a drastic difference between how they look on offense and defense. He was very good with explaining it, from a coaching standpoint and giving the um, schematical things and ideas with JT when we look at their offense. I thought they were, I'm saying simple. Okay, I know we kind of talked about it. It was simple. That's why they're not getting a lot of yards. Yes, they got a lot of people hurt. Their offensive line has been different and changed a bunch. They're rotating quarterbacks around. Yes, but I think that is definitely their weak part of what they, would try to do. So I think Kane Womack will have a lot of stuff to support this. And as he said, if they're not throwing the ball down the field and we're sitting and we're just rallying and using our speed, they might have a hard time moving the football on us, as long as we don't let the quarterback get loose with his legs. And hopefully we had enough experience trying to tackle Milroe in practice or whatever that they got
Yeah,
something.
but we've seen some running guys, Sellers from South Carolina,
Yeah.
the USF quarterback, was probably the fastest quarterback they've seen all year. Um, am I
And
missing
the guy
somebody?
from Vanderbilt.
Yes. Well, they ain't get that one.
Right. So, does that become dangerous to us? I don't know. Maybe they just key on that and say, do not let him run the ball. Um, you know, so it's going to be interesting to see how we play. I'm just thinking that we have more guys in the box and maybe dare them to throw it some and let our guys go cover. Now, when you look at this defensive side, you can see much better football, right? See a lot of 4-man front, but sometimes there are 3-man fronts. Um, I put these in here because it was, how they actually work their contains versus maybe not, or what we talked about last week. Are they in their gaps or not, right? So you get these two guys who come off the ball. If you look, you can see where gaps are supposed to be in. I don't know if that guy's in a tight
Yeah, he looks
three
like he's in a
or a
this.
two eye.
Well, my
But
my drawing tool is not working.
I think he falls back on the backside, and the front guy actually stays up and does well. I think I can't remember. Um, but while you're trying to get your green marker, is it considered green? Yeah. So he actually falls backside, but the other guy actually does really good of taking the appropriate steps. On number 79 to actually stay contained, and then you let this linebacker run like JT's always talking about. You see some space,
Yeah, just go.
he's going right. But who really makes the play is that defensive end because he gets outside and he doesn't get hooked or reach. That's hard to do. I don't know if you know how hard that is to step laterally and fast enough, get your hands up and not let 79 get his head on the outside of you. That's a. I mean, they have to work the heck out of that in practice all the time, and this is really really good um, by him. And then when you got a running back feel or linebacker feeling like that, it makes it hard to run the football. So let's at least wanted you to see um, that. Okay.
Well, I think my pen's broken, so oh well.
Uh, all right.
I, I
And I
can I can
and I don't think I drew on all of these. Maybe I did. I can't.
we'll
Oh,
we'll
this
try
one.
we'll try drawing in our other tool over here.
Okay.
Let's see. You do have annotations here, all right? So we're looking at the interior guys. Let's get 95 is he's a big boy.
He is. Let's see if I actually wrote down write his number down on this cheat sheet. Um, no, one of them's a freshman. How you doing, Dan? Thank you, sir. All right. So again, I just wanted you to see how these guys play, right? So I think one of them actually gets reached like crazy bad. The one on the left, I think the
Yep.
center.
Yeah, that's not great.
No, so he's in a three technique, and we talked about he gets reached by the other guys.
Ugh.
That is not supposed. So, as I just told you,
He
how
almost
hard
didn't
it
even need the
is.
help.
No, so where I just gave a lot of praise the first time, You can go back and look at the other guy too.
Yeah.
He
So
gets reached by the tackle.
again, when we're talking about getting reached, we're talking about the gaps that you're lined up in, and unless there's a stunt called, you're lined up in these gaps for a reason, right? So you've got a guy that should be manning this gap, and you got another guy that's out here. And when that gap moves and they leave you, and you're two gaps over, right? You've lost this one, and you've lost this one, and you're about to lose this one. That can make for a very poor play.
No, that guy does a
Thankfully, you
really
got
good job
people
of
running
getting
to the
over
ball.
the top. Now he did right. He didn't go underneath the linebacker, which a lot of times they'll try to cheat and go underneath
Yeah,
74
and go this way. And
then
then
they
you're trying to
don't make it.
chase, and then it's gonna be up to that guy back there to make a tackle.
Yep. So he did a darn good job. It's pretty cool. I don't know how you're doing that. That might help with our problem too if you're clouding out the video like that.
Well, that's on accident because I keep hitting the wrong button.
So maybe that's something like that ain't ours. But anyway, I just wanted you to see that, right? So sometimes they're there, sometimes they aren't. You can look at the secondary. What do I have here? Oh yeah, I was gonna. We didn't get a chance to really ask him about this just because we didn't have enough time with him. But one of the things I was going to ask him, JT, is really what coordinators see when they get these mug defenses, meaning that what we talked about similar last week when everybody's up on the line of scrimmage. Now, what is his mindset as a coordinator? Because we're going to get this probably just because it's something that they do. Who's rushing, who isn't.
And how do you ID? Who you do you keep the same ID? Do you because you're definitely not going to fan here. That's not. Well, I mean, I guess you could
let the running back
and
take
let
it.
the running back insert. I don't typically think you. I don't know. I'm not an online coach. Maybe you do want a fan. Who knows?
Yeah, and I think that just goes into tendencies, and they're trying to figure out what do they normally do when they line up like this? Who's dropping out? How often do they blitz? They're communicating and checking and talking. I think a couple of them, both of the guys drop out. So a fan
And a
kind of
twist.
like what we're saying, and the twist is it's you got to pick that up now.
He throw this ball on time though, and you're all right.
Yes, it just goes into how sharp is Milroe going to be with this, and does he get in his panic? Does he panic, or does he? Because he could actually do this, which I think I have one more clip. I don't think we have very many defensive plays on here.
No, we've got two more.
Yeah, and the secondary, if you wanted to, if you're looking at this, okay, and so this is another one that I really kind of want to ask him about is short yardage and how you start planning for this and why. My question is, and maybe you can just talk about it and give me your belief of, is something in short
4th and 1.
And
well, let's get the full context here of what's going on in the game. It's 4th and 1. Ball's on your own 44. Early in the second quarter, and you're down by 3. So there's everything you need to know.
But you get so they give you the motion. Maybe they're trying to get you to jump first. But when you watch their play, they actually run a jet sweep with the other guy outside to the left. So it's not that good. You see, he fakes that. No, who's going to fall for that fake?
Yeah, the ball ain't even snapped yet.
But so he gets set, and then here comes the other motion going the other direction, and they hand it to him. Now that defensive end, look at this pursuit, okay? When we're talking about aggressiveness and how they're doing. Look at that guy at the top. He totally destroys that. I don't know if he's a tight end or a tackle, but he's got him.
This guy right here.
Yeah, that's big boy. football, he's disrupting.
Yeah, make him bounce. Right now, he has to take that angle, which gives me time and him time, and
Yeah. Now he misses him, but it's just a fact of okay, what did you see to actually think that that guy was going to be able to block that Janor? Because that could have been a terrible loss. Now he didn't make it anyway, but it just started off bad to
yeah,
me. So whatever we're thinking about short yarders, they do have some dudes. Yeah, their record is not very, indicative of maybe how good their defense plays because they keep losing, but their defense actually keeps them in games most of the time. It's just like you said, if they don't create turnovers. All
well,
right.
I mean, they win this game, right? If the offense doesn't turn the ball over on what was effectively the last play of the game.
Correct. So we got to protect the football. They got some pretty good deal. JT on the defensive side, if you do go back and watch it before, one of the things, this is not about this play, but the safety that's kind of in the middle of the field, they use him almost like a robber a lot. Like he doesn't drop down in the box, but I think he keeps his eyes available.
Yeah,
So
he's
because he
kind of
want to
flat
go
footing.
attack the run,
He's
yes,
aggressive on the run.
he is going in for the run, then he kind of holds it in the middle of the field and kind of backs out of it, if it's a pass. So it's kind of, you know, different in that sense. So I imagine they're going to have to game plan for that. And do they try to do some play action and get some shots over his head? Or, do you just take the one-on-one matchups on the outside? Um, you know, he's kind of creeping a little bit, but I don't know if you would call that a quarter quarter half or what this
Um,
is. If it's man, I don't.
nah, it looks like a little bit of man. To me, and I'm specifically looking at this guy.
Yeah,
Um, because that's a man turn all the way, right? That's man. His eyes are here. His eyes are there. I think they're probably playing games with these three, like these two over that one. Um,
yes. And so,
and
what do you see out
then
of
looking
this?
down at the bottom, like that's man, and he ain't even worried about it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you see outside routes because I did see this in some of the film that it kind of looks similar in a lot of it, um, but maybe they have to use a number three on out routes, the third wide receiver or something to try to run away or really do games, I get this to give him some good throws. But the point of this was ultimately, if you're looking at it, those defensive ends are screaming up the field like majorly,
Mm-hmm.
and that is if you think Jalen Milroe ain't gonna take off and just go, these guys can't run up the field like it. Not unless they just know it's a. I don't even know if they want to do it on a passing down. If you don't have anybody spying for them,
And Dan McKinney asked, "Do you think that Ryan Williams can be Luther Burden in this comparison? Is he going to take the same attention?" I think they're going to have to. I think Alabama is going to have to force that attention. I don't think the game plan going in is that they're going to be keying on Ryan Williams. Venables is a very good defense coordinator, very good defensive mind. But I think going into this, you have to know where you got to know who the most dangerous guy is. And as much as us as Bama fans love Ryan Williams, the most dangerous guy on the field is still number 4. So I think, I don't know whether or not you're going to get these ends like this, but I do think you're going to get a lot of this. Where this dude's just going to sit here and wait and try to spy. And I think that you're probably going to get a lot of this. to try to help force Jalen to get rid of the ball. Say, hey, we're not going to let you, or we're going to try not to let you run, and
No
we're
more,
going to trust
no
our
more
corners.
185-yard rushing game by your
Right?
quarterback.
Yeah. No, they're going to say, yeah, you're not going to beat us with 185 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. Or you're going to have to do something else. And I think if you want that attention on Ryan Williams, you have to demand it. You've got to start hitting people over the top and say, hey, you can't cover me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I agree with you, JT. I think that they're gonna have to try to stop Milroe from this, because if he gets loose, then it really just opens up other can of worms where now you're really gonna get yourself in trouble. I don't think they force him the ball. I think they try to get him involved. Maybe they throw some quick spots and things just to kind of make you figure out where he is. But until he sets up the big shot and you get them safeties really hunkering down, it's kind of hard to do. Particularly if you got guys that are kind of. Now I know this is a red zone shot, but they kind of do the same thing out in the open field. From what I've seen, it's looked very similar. Okay.
I think that's it. That's our last defensive clip.
Okay. Oh well,
What is this?
you went back to the old film that
I know. I
didn't
clicked
get
on the
in there.
wrong 2-man, I guess.
I don't know if we ever dropped that whole film anyway on those punters with the guy from
I don't
Florida.
remember. Yeah, I don't remember if we did or not.
Needless to say, all right. So what do I think about this game? I still think we win. I think that there's some challenges that you go in. Now you got to remember too, Venables had a couple of weeks to try to get ready for Alabama. How much film has he watched? What have they done? You got to know that he's a good coach that can scheme up some things. So
Well, he's a national championship winning DC.
yeah, so you better believe he's going to try to create some kind of confusion, and just show something different that's going to be a little bit challenging until we can work this chess match and try to figure out how to get free and open. I think it's the same thing for our defense, that I think we got an upper hand on them. And if we create some turnovers, maybe get some short fields, some sacks, create, whatever it is, that if we get out and get a jump on them, I didn't think that maybe it can get ugly, or ugly meaning 2 or 3 touchdowns ahead. I think the spread is 13 and a half, 14 points that we're favored by. I think if we have to create the turnovers, then we cover. If we don't, and we let them hang around and we're at their place, I don't know what the weather's supposed to be. Might be a little cool since the temperature's dropping. It could be.
The spread. This is per Odd Shark. I know they're different everywhere, but this one has Alabama minus 14.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, they got us up by 2. I think we can win by that much, but it has to be a very solid game. It's got to be a very well coached game. I think it could be another signature win for DuBois. If people say, "Oh, well, they're not that good" or whatever, but I just think if you anytime you're going to someone else's house at night time, people that, even if they're struggling, if you can win this game convincingly, is good. All right, what did Bama Standard say?
He says, if Oklahoma shuts down the run, especially Milroe, do you trust Milroe to win it through the air?
No. I don't. But that's, since you asked me just so blunt and like that. Now we just listened to what Coach Gundy said, and he gave him a lot of praise, and but he really said that his best ball is a deep ball. That's nothing that we hadn't all been saying before. I just think that if you have the type of pressure that these guys can get, whether it's stopping the run or whatnot, and then they start running these twists and getting other pressure, he's got to really make very, very good decisions with the football. I could see them lining up in those things, but I don't know. Maybe I'm not giving DeBoer enough credit to be in this quarterback's ear and kind of helping him process some of this information. Just right now, I'm still a little gun shy and saying, do we really want him to be forced just to have to throw the whole?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess, my thought is, you're probably going to lose if you have to throw the ball 45 times. I just don't feel like that you have to, if you got to go to the LSU game plan of like, look, we got to throw the ball 42 times and it's just the way it is. And I find it hard that they're going to be in a situation where they have to throw the ball that many times. I'm not saying it won't be a lot, but 30 is already high,
Yeah, but I do feel confident, by my standard, that I think our run game is just so much more elaborate, and the way they scheme these things up, that they've watched this enough to say, okay, if they do this, we probably can run this or that and create some runs that maybe we hadn't even seen. We already showed you those weird whirly bird pullers and just stuff, quarterback follows and different things that I never even saw coming off the shelf. Who knows what he pulls out of his hat this week to say,
yeah, maybe this is one of those weeks that you start seeing a whole bunch of not the motions, but the shifts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that would be good probably if you're doing that. So the one defensive end, he's I think it's the nose tackle. The stuff that I saw, I think that you have to try to run at him a little bit. He's very big. I know you got that linebacker behind him, but he seems to be the softest. Right? The point when you're trying to identify who you need to go and who you need to double, how you can get. I think that we can beat him physically and try to run through those spaces wherever that nose tackle is and push him out of the way. That's my thought. All right, what's your last word, brother?
I don't have one. I was not prepared to have a last word.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks to the people in the chat. There's my last word.
I know how it is. That's the same thing Emily tells you. Be quiet. You don't get the last word. I get the last word. I know how it is, man. I gotta talk to you, man. Make sure. But anyway, hey, listen. We want to thank you guys for hanging out with us for these 90 minutes that we've been going. You joined in time for the last word. Yeah, rewatch it, man. We appreciate you, the jam. You know where we're gonna be next week. I believe we're still gonna do this, right, JT? It's Thanksgiving Eve.
Yeah. There's the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, so we're gonna be here for you guys. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this. Do what AK said. Share this. Rewatch it. Tell people about it. Give us a subscribe and like. And we're going to be back after we get this W from Oklahoma and bring you everything you need to know about Auburn next week. Deuces.